Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to what is probably going to be one of the last parts of this solo progression series. Over the last few months, I've been working on this account in an attempt to create a character that could solo up to easy Lucid. Since the beginning of the Destiny update, I worked on leveling up the Corsair as much as I could, while trying to put together a gear loadout that I thought would be good enough to take on one of the first bosses within the Arcane River. Along the way, I had to make some various sets of gears that would help me clear weekly bosses, train, and of course farm Meso. All of the Meso of course was funneled into the endgame gear that I would be using to clear Lucid. Let's first start off by looking at the Lynx and Legion that I have worked on so far. I kept Lynx and Legion training to a minimum because I thought that the training process would be boring for both you guys and for me, and I only worked on the core ones that I thought I needed to do to be able to clear the boss. First off, I worked on some easy damage links, which were my Kana and my Demon Avenger. Kana's link provides me with 10% damage at the level 2 link, and Demon Avenger provides 15% damage from its level 3 link. The other link skills that I worked on were my 2 extra Terror Burnings that were given during the event. The classes I chose to burn were Luminous and Beast Tamer. For a new account like mine, one of the biggest walls tends to be the high amounts of Ignore Enemy Defense, or IED, that you need to be able to clear bosses, and Luminous's link provides us 20% IED at level 3, which is insane value. Beast Tamer's link, on the other hand, provides us with 10% crit rate, which saves me from adding extra points into my hypers, so I'll be able to put them into more useful stats like IED, while also providing me an extra 10% boss damage, so the link itself is extremely good value. And the icing on the cake for Beast Tamer is at the level 200 Legion block is 5% IED. So, in my opinion, Beast Tamer was easily one of the best characters that I could have chosen to push 210. Lastly, for my links, I wanted to do a quick shout out to my Ho-Young that is currently sitting somewhere in the level 80s. I don't really know where it is at the moment, but I still use the link because it does give me 5% ID, which is better than nothing. My total Legion level is currently just under 1500, and that is where I plan to leave it. Next up, I wanted to talk about my familiars. When I could, I started training in Morass, and even though that the EXP and Meso rates were a bit more on the lower side compared to where I usually trained, the extra familiar cards gave me the chance of rolling familiars with 15% IED, and my intention was to roll for at least 2 familiars with 15%. Thankfully, the IED line isn't too difficult to get, and I had 2 15 IED fams for when I tried to do Lucid. I also considered unlocking 10 familiar badges for the 3rd slot, but I felt like it would take too much time to go for that extra slot for 15% IED, so I decided to not go for it. Before we go into the gear part of the video, I wanted to quickly talk about my V matrix. First off, I made sure to put in all the relevant boost nodes that I had. For my main trio, I had to use 3 boost nodes because I didn't actually have the perfect trio for both of them, so I had to compensate by putting in a 3rd node. For my secondary trio, I just put in the nodes that gave me as much damage as they could, because from my understanding with Corsair, the summons do a lot of damage, and I just wanted to make sure that I had more ways to deal with the golems in Lucid P1, so I had to put them in. For the remainder of the slots, I had to make sure, of course, to have my main bossing skills. Nautilus Strike and Death Trigger were both leveled up pretty highly, because I decided to craft these nodes to try to get them to a high level. I also made sure to have high levels in Overdrive and Maple Goddess, because these buffs give a lot of damage during burst, and Overdrive is also used somewhat off burst as well from my understanding, so I had to make sure to use them in my V matrix. I had decent Sharp Eyes and decent combat orders because the crit rate and the +1 to your skills is a lot of damage, so we had to keep those in. I had Target Lock as a protection measure because this does give an iframe, and in Lucid there are some situations where you just need an iframe to get out of sticky situations, and it made sense at the time for me to put it in. The last mandatory slot for me was Loaded Dice. It's just a no-brainer for any pirate class that can use it because it gives you 20% damage, and that's just free damage. The last 2 slots is a little bit interesting. I wanted to quickly talk about Fatal Strike, which is a special node that you can craft. It is a pretty small minimal upgrade on getting a little bit more damage during the fight, And in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have used this because I would rather have used Bullet Barrage to help me clear with the golems in P1. For the last slot, I had to change between two nodes. In P1, I needed to make sure I had the Blink node in, because sometimes in the Lucid fight, she will spawn a dragon that will immediately kill you if you get touched by its breath. So in P1, sometimes you can't get through the golems and you just need a vertical stall that can keep you up in the air for long enough to avoid the breath. So in P1, I needed to put in Blink. And once we got into P2, I swapped out Blink for Urdinova or the Bind. The reason for this is because in P2 she moves around a lot and the Bind will keep her still for when you need to do your burst. Anyway, that's all I had to say about the things that don't include my gear. I want to put in some clips that happened during the 5.10.15 event that we had recently, where I upgraded a lot of my gear, and then after that I'll go through a final gear review of my character, and then we can go into easier Lucid. Yeah, today is probably the best chance I have to finish this character, in a sense at least. I have a few things I need to do on this character today, and it's gonna rely on some good luck. I need to do some Starforcing. I have a lot of gear already prepped, ready to be Starforced. I think the first thing that I'm going to do is this gun. So I have the Akechi weapon already, and we're gonna hope that this gun can make it. I don't have that many high hopes because I don't think I have that many spares of the weapon. I have 3 spares total. I really hope that this gun sends. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna go back to a Fafnir weapon and then try to Starforce that. I'm hoping it goes to 21, but the 21s are kind of hard. The luck on Shining might have run out. So we'll see how far this gun can go. If it gets to 21, that'd be ideal. What? What just happened? Did I really just farm 20 bill? I was worrying and stressing for the last 3 weeks farming on this character, and it just really went like that? Bruh. Guys, you have no idea how much I've been stressing on this character, because I was like, if I don't get this gun to 21, this plan like completely falls apart. If it wasn't for the fact that I have to do a lot of cubing afterwards, I would. But there's a lot of cubing that we need to do on this character afterwards. I'm sure you guys would like some variety of content, not just Starforcing. Because this weapon is, it needs to actually still be usable. So we need to cube. 21 star not worth on the weapon. If the weapon booms, it's over. Like that weapon takes way too long to get back. It takes like 7 weeks, and I waited 7 weeks for that weapon. I probably will safeguard 16 to 17 if it gets there. It's gonna be pricey, but I don't want to blow this up just in case. So for this, I have a lot of spares for it. See how far this can go. I think for the shoulder, I might keep going until 19 max. This one might get painful. If it starts draining the money too much, then I won't continue with it. Hopefully this doesn't get too expensive. I think I'm going to set a upper limit of 6 or 7 bill. So if I have like 10 bill left, and then I'm going to spend the rest of my money trying to fix the weapon's potential. We're going to be clicking here for a while, guys. See if we can get this to 18. Okay, 18. Do I really want to push to 19 is the real question. Oy. Or do I want to 17 some of the other stuff? That's the real question. I do have a lot of reinforced. I feel like, let's try to get 17 on this. I think I have spare belts. Probably have spare belts, right? Okay, 17 is good enough. I don't want to push more than 17 for these items. I don't have very many spares. I think I'll go for the 19 star. I don't think I'll go for 21 on this. I do have 5 bill. Do you reckon I can get 19? Maybe. Seems scary. Okay, 19's good. I think I might spend the rest of my money cubing. I think it's time to start cubing. First things first, I need to get these guaranteed gains. God, that was expensive. 3-line attack incoming. I mean, that'd be pretty wild. But I actually don't want 3-line attack. I want, like, some form of ID. Let's do the weapon first. Makes the most sense, right? Let's see if we can get to the legendary. I hope it doesn't get stuck like some of the other items. I think my gloves... Okay, it didn't get stuck, thankfully. My gloves took a lot of money to get to unique. It was quite painful. Alright, 50 cubes. Surely we get to legendary, right? After I use all these black cubes, if it doesn't tier up, I'll use some reds on other items. Just to change things up a bit. I still have 11 bills, so... Unless you guys want to see me all in on the weapon first. What do you guys think? All in weapon, or do you want me to spread it out? Ooh. Do I like this better? I think I like this just slightly better. I have these event rings that are 12 and 15, I think. But I can just use my drop gear now, because I don't think I'll be farming anymore. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use these for damage now. I don't think I'll be farming anymore. And this is going to be like a free tier up, in a sense. Because they're already legendary. So let's try to roll 2 line on these. So hope it doesn't get too expensive. So I'm looking for 18 or 21 decks on these rings. These used to be my drop rings. But they're already legendary, so I can save a little bit of money. Won't need to try to tier them up. Tearing up can be pretty expensive. Would be pretty cool to see 3 lines, but 18% is what we're aiming for. Okay, this one. Ah, okay. Yeah, I was definitely going to legendary the weapon. I just wanted to spice things up. Because the weapon already ate like 50 black cubes. And here's going to be another 50. Oh, but then again, I should pay attention in case it's like ID, attack somehow. It'd have to be a pretty good triple line on unique for me to keep it though. Like 10 attack, 10 attack. And like boss. Alright, good thing I overfarmed because this is what I was scared of about like the Starforcing. Like if I spend a lot of money on the Starforcing to try to get that weapon and then I get stuck on this this tier up, it's pretty rough. Because there's not much I can do about it. So I don't have much to lose for buying too many black cubes. But I really do want to make sure that this gun makes it to legendary. I hope it goes to legendary soon. It's getting kind of expensive. If this goes down to 0, that's 200 black cubes. Oh no. 200 black cubes. Unbelievable, guys. Balancing all things, it is what it is. Nah, the Starforcing luck on this character is pretty insane, so you gotta balance it out somewhere. Oh, not, also, like my my emblem, right? That thing was also pretty insane. So honestly, I take a 3-attack emblem any day. I'll take a 3-attack emblem any day. Hey, we did it, guys. Made it. Made it to legendary. Now we can use the fun cubes. Ooh. This would have been, if the damage was attack, it would have been exactly what I was looking for. Because I'm looking for 1 line of ID, and then either attack or boss damage for the 2nd line. I don't know if I'll go for 3 line. I think 3 lines are really expensive. So I'm looking for ID, either 35 or 40. And then 1 line of boss or attack. I think it's pretty greedy to reroll this. I have so much money to it's 30 and 30, that's so sad. I'm kind of banking on a 45 or 30. Ooh. I was kind of banking on a 35 or 40. That being said though, if I see like attack boss damage, I'll definitely keep it. Yeah, I'm pretty much looking for ID and then a useful line. Except that one. Except that one. No, no, no. Not double ID. That's too much. There is the EXP map. Oh! Hey, yo. I think we keep that. It's not attack, but I'll take it. Okay. Double prime. Let's go. That's... You know, for most people, that's a pretty ugly weapon. That's a pretty ugly weapon, but for me, this is great. It's so good for me too because I don't even have I don't have very much boss damage, so the boss damage is actually worth more. Yeah. So I am technically 3 line and everything on my WSC at least. They're all like useful lines. And that's exactly what I want. Yep, that's very good. 262 boss damage. I'm a little bit scared. Like, I was never a fan of rolling or cubing to legendary in the first place, outside of like DMT, if I'm to be honest. Like, I hate tearing things up to legendary. I think that gun kind of solidified that feeling for me. That was almost 200 black cubes. No, it's always defense. It's always defense. As a Dex user, you can never be too sure. Oh, okay. I think that puts everything in a nice spot. If this gives me like 9 and 6, I'd probably keep it as well. Like if it tears up, right? Oh, I thought that was it. That was defense again. Ooh, got to legendary. That is nice. I'm glad that at least at least it felt bad for me. That weapon was a big robbery. Okay, 19, 18. 18's good. Alright. Last 14 black cubes on this character. And we'll run it into Lucid. Because I think Lucid is as good as done. Oh, free tier up. Oh no, I might have to buy more cubes. I really don't want to have to buy more. Cubing armors is painful. I hope it gives me 18 cheap. Oh, thank God. I was so scared. What do I do with the rest of these? I think between Reinforce and Sweetwater, I'd rather black cube the Sweetwater. It has higher numbers, right? Math checks out. Okay. Now this is just a bit silly because if I don't get it, I'd have to buy more cubes. Alright, surely 18 cubes is enough to see 2 line, right? I think the only line that I would roll over is like 14. If I see like 2 line all-stat, I'll probably roll over that. It's not too hard to get 20 on Legendary, I suppose. I'll be really disappointed if I see a hybrid. Ooh, 20. I think everything's good. Yeah, I think this is as good as I'm gonna get it. 22.5. That was a 4k stat increase. I think it's time. It's time to finish this. Let's go clear easy Lucid, right? So before we go into the Lucid fight itself, let's have a quick look again at our gear. So of course I have my Legion as it is, a little bit under 1500. I've got pretty much just my EXP links, a few damage links which are from my Kana and my DA. Have the ID link from Luminous, the Beast Tamer link, and a little bit from my Hyung. Here are my clean stats. I'm sitting at just a little bit above 22.5k. I have 262 boss damage, 92 IED, and 78 crit damage. The crit rate will go up to 100% in the middle of the fight when I have my FAMs on and also one of my buffs on, which is Scurvy. So with FAMs and Scurvy, it should put it to 100. And my IED is currently sitting at 94 with my FAMs, so should be more than enough for Lucid. 94 is a pretty good amount of IED, so I won't worry about that. Just one last look at our items. Here are my arcane symbols. I have a total of 8.5k stat from the symbols. That's a pretty good amount. As for the equipment itself, we have our Afterland totems as usual. For each of the rings, all of them should be at least 18%. So I've got 2 event rings at 18 and 21%, a 17-star Kana treasure at 21%, and a reinforced ring, also 17-star, 21%. For the cup, we have a 60 and 6 cup, so pretty good flame. Reinforced pendant, 4% all stat flame, which is pretty great. That's how it came out from the shop, and 15% stat. We have a 17-star dominator pendant with a pretty solid flame and 3 line of dex, which we got during, I believe, DMT. We've got our 20-star weapon with 3 usable lines, one including a ignore defense line, which is exactly what we need for this boss, just because I have such a low Legion and very minimal links. All the ID I can get, I'll just take it. We have a 17-star reinforced belt with 6%, and similarly the earring, both of which are 17 and 6%. A bunch of different Japanese set armors. I still cannot believe I decided to go with this, but regardless, my character was very lucky getting a lot of these things to 21, so here we have it. We've got a 21-star hat with 18%, a 21 top with 18%, 21 shoes with 15%, 21 gloves with 8 crit damage and 9 all stat, and a 21 cape with 18%. I decided to stop my shoulder at 19 just because I didn't know how much money it would take to actually get from 19 to 21, and I didn't want to gamble, so I kept it at 19 and it's sitting at 18% as well. Last few items, we've got our tattoo at 17 star with 20% dex, Black Bean Mark at 17 star, 15% dex. We have a 33 attack emblem, which is absolutely amazing. I couldn't have asked for anything better than this, honestly. And our secondary with a line of ID, a line of boss, and a line of attack. All in all, this character has received some pretty insane luck throughout its life, and I plan to use these to the best of their ability, so hopefully this can get me a pretty low stat clear on easy Lucid. Even though I have such a low amount of links in Legion, we'll just have to see how it goes. For the buffs for Lucid, all I used was a red pot from Monster Park, an Ursus buff, and MVP superpower buff, which you could substitute out for a guild buff, and of course my familiars. Anyway, I think it's enough talking. Let's get straight into Lucid. Easy Lucid is a boss that is split into 2 phases. We'll start off with phase 1. This phase is designed to take as many lives off you as it can. You want to burst this boss as often as possible to get out of the phase before you run out of lives. The first major mechanic is her sickles. She will stand up occasionally and send sickles in random directions. These do a lot of damage, but you can tank them if you have no space to move. Lucid would spawn butterflies throughout the fight, and these butterflies shoot pellets in random directions. Be mindful of your HP so you don't randomly die to these pellets. When there are too many butterflies on the map, they will fly after you and kill you. You can prevent this from happening by occasionally blowing the trumpet by holding down the interact key on the far left or right side. You can get a charge on the trumpet for each HP bar you take off of Lucid, and the statues can hold up to 3 charges at a time. In this phase, there are 2 monsters that she spawns. The first one is the Nightmare Golem. These golems are designed to be blockers in your way to safety and should be managed carefully. They spawn randomly in the map, and if they land on you, they will do 70% of your health. This is one of the biggest killers in Phase 1 Lucid because of how frequently the golems spawn, so you want to try your best to avoid getting stomped on by them. If you try to jump over the golems, they will do 70% of your health and potion lock you. The Nightmare Mushroom, on the other hand, will spawn on either side of Lucid and start walking to the edge of the map. If you make contact with the mushroom, it will do 50% of your HP and will block your way. Lucid will sometimes summon a powerful monster. A dragon will come down on either the far left or right side and breathe fire across the rest of the map. It is similar to Velem's breath, and you will need to be where the dragon's head is to survive, or float over the breath. Throughout the entirety of Phase 1, Lucid will randomly teleport you around the map. All you can do about the teleport is to hope that she doesn't throw you under a golem or into the dragon's breath. Every once in a while, Lucid will put a bomb on your head, and this bomb will do roughly 200% damage to you. The only way to avoid this is to either iframe the bomb explosion, or to stand near the mirrors that spawn randomly throughout the map. The mirror will help you share the damage of the bomb and leave you on very small amount of HP, so you want to try to be careful and make sure you are full HP before the bomb explodes. This bomb mechanic is the main reason why you want to get out of Phase 1 as soon as you can, because a lot of classes don't have a way to deal with the bomb, along with the many other mechanics within this phase without dying. In Phase 2, the map layout changes and Lucid will start flying around. In this phase, many of the mechanics are the same as the previous one. Her sickles, her bombs, her butterflies, pellets, and trumpet mechanics are the same as in P1, except for the fact that if you are unable to cleanse with the trumpet in time, rather than the butterflies chasing you around like they do in Phase 1, you'll be forced to avoid pellets that come at you at all directions while floating around. Throughout the fight, Lucid will become invulnerable and do one of 2 mechanics. The first one is her Berserk or touch mechanic. She will fly around the map in a large circle, and if she makes contact with you, you will lose a life. There are various safe spots in the map, and I prefer to stand in the spot next to the right side statue. The other mechanic is her laser rain mechanic. Lucid will disappear and shoot lasers at you. The lasers will take 2 seconds to explode to do damage, and you can simply walk or jump away from the lasers. Try your best not to fall off the map, because if you do, it might teleport you into a random laser, and in hard Lucid, it will actually also do extra damage to you while you fall off, and potion lock you. Similar to Phase 1, she will summon a powerful monster. A dragon will come down and breathe fire across the whole middle section of the map, and the safe spots in the map are the top 2 platforms and the very bottom platform. Golems will spawn periodically throughout the fight and break the platforms that they spawn on. They will do damage to you if you're close to them, but they will not do damage to you if you jump over them, like they did in P1. The key to Phase 2 is to avoid as many unnecessary deaths as possible while trying to maintain your damage. Some of the mechanics will be impossible for some classes to avoid, such as the bomb, so conserving lives and using them as a resource to tank the bomb is not a bad idea. Make sure to cleanse with the trumpet to avoid the bullet hell mechanic, as that mechanic can be quite difficult to avoid. You'll be forced to chase Lucid around the map while trying to do damage to her, and to maintain higher DPS, try your best not to fall off the map. In easy mode, you don't really get punished for falling off the map, but in the harder version, you do take damage, and you will be potion locked if you do fall off. And there we go. It's done. I was very nervous in P1, I'm not gonna lie guys, I was quite nervous in P1. That P1 was very scary. Very scary. There we go. The last 3 months working on this character has been definitely one of the most difficult challenges that I've ever attempted. Starting off with a fresh account with just my past experiences to guide me, it was a pretty satisfying feeling to see everything come together towards the end. From making new links to making a new main, you know, from doing normal Root Abyss to soloing the first Arcane River boss. All the efforts that I put into the character to build it to where it is right now, and by making the most out of all the events that we had along the way, I feel honestly like so accomplished. And also really relieved that all the pain, all the worrying was worth the result. This journey was by far one of the hardest things and somewhat one of the most stressful things that I've ever tried to do. Not only was the challenge of the solo progression itself difficult, but just trying to maintain my personal goal that I set myself at the very beginning of uploading one video a week was, to say the least, extremely stressful. However, looking back on this series, I'm pretty satisfied with how everything kind of came together towards the end, both with the character and the videos. None of this would have been possible without the help of you guys and the support of my friends and the fans that cheered me along the way. There was pretty much no way that I would have been able to keep going at the pace I was without the constant moral support from everyone. And because of that, I want to thank every single one of you guys still watching so much. Thank you all for sticking with me throughout this entire journey. It's been an amazing time. I'm not too sure about what I'm going to be working on next, if I am even going to work on anything after this. But whatever it is, I hope to see you guys there. For now though, I think it's time for me to take a break. Wherever you guys are in the world, hopefully you are all having a wonderful day. And as always, take care. I'll see you in the next part. Maybe.